Hey, direct response to I'm just a girl, Anita. I know, my friend, that everything on YouTube is basically going to shit. I mean, we all saw this coming, you know. It's not anything new, really. What started out as some sort of a little social network, you know, has become blown out of proportion. And now it's completely commercial, basically. And so individual voices, while still having some chance of being heard, are basically being drowned out, you know. This is not just a problem for YouTube, it's across the entire spectrum of social networks. This goes for Facebook, for any kind of social network, really. Because all of this, while it might have had good intentions to start with from the innovators, so to speak, it's become too much of a accepted reality for most people that anything you see visually, for the most part, videos and such, and that includes, you know, any kind of television and so on, is somehow more important than any other type of activity in life. Now, we all know what it takes to sustain a family, what it takes to make a living, and most of us are not on the internet 24/7 or on television 24/7. Yet we spend all this time on this digital media, which presents us mostly now with images. You brought up a good point, Anita, when you said that read a motherfucking book. Because reading is something very different from looking at images. Reading involves a sustained attention span, which most Americans don't have anymore. Reading means something different than just looking at images presented to you visually through your medium. It also means that you have some empathy with the characters that you're reading about, whether this is fictional or real. But, you know, images, and you have to understand that I started out as a visual artist, okay, have lost their meaning, basically, because it's far too easy to look at pictures across the net or across commercial television in order to understand their background, where these images are coming from and why they're being put out there. We are bombarded daily with nothing but images. Recent case in point, you know, were the demonstrations in Europe regarding the anti-austerity programs. What you see on commercial television is merely images. You see burning cars, you see people jubilating or being totally pissed off, you know, their facial expressions and everything, without any context. And so everything via mere images is dumbing down our entire society. Because societies don't merely function on images, you know. So think about that. And I had a recent critique from somebody on here that you don't really need to show your face on here on YouTube in order to project something of value. That might be true, but you know, it becomes increasingly hard to project anything if you are too afraid to show your face in order to be able to do so as an ordinary citizen, you know. And this is where your channel, Anita, came in. That was the brilliance. Don't be persuaded by trolls or anybody else on here to make you think that whatever you say is simply idiotic, okay? Man, if we all thought that, there wouldn't be any conversation taking place anymore at all, okay? So don't give up on doing your video vlogs. I won't do that either, but of course YouTube is not the venue for the future. YouTube is basically a commercial channel at this point, and we have to find other venues, and we have to find amongst ourselves to find some consensus as to where we're going to migrate, you know. Immigrate, integrate, immigrate, I think. We're all basically illegal immigrants in this country at this point, according to YouTube, you know. So we have to seriously find other venues to talk about this stuff, because our voices are essentially being silenced on here, and no matter how hard we try, you know, on this YouTube thing, it's not going to make any difference. It might make a difference on some other venues, I don't know. But we have to all come to a consensus here where to migrate to. Because staying by yourself and being alone and isolated is not going to solve the problem. In fact, we will all be isolated then. And that's not a good thing. That has never been a good thing. Thanks for your video, Anita.